True.
That's absolutely right. Healthcare costs, premiums have risen at 5 times the rate of wages since the year 2000.
My mom's on oxygen, and we just got a bill for her copayment for her oxygen.
For who?
My mom.
Oh, your mom.
Her mother's
Yeah,
oxygen.
she has dementia, and she has a bad heart, and her blood pressure's high, and all kinds of other health problems. And she's on oxygen, and we just got a bill for $47 a month for her oxygen. And it's like we have to pay for her. I mean, I know everybody has co-payments.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have co-payments that can't afford their co-payments. They can't afford their medicine.
Well, Albert just told you about the deal that Congress is getting on health care, on the taxpayers,
They
on
don't
all
have
of us.
any co-payments
Right.
at all.
Right.
And that's only one of 40 actual, excuse me for interrupting, that's only one of 40 possibilities that they have. But Donna, I'm going to ask that we move ahead because I want to, quite frankly, hit below the belt. Now,
You do that.
if you're able to stay on the line, if Yuri can hold you there for a minute, I want you to hear this, but if not, you'll see it on DVD. So if we lose you, I'll tell you tonight. But I'm about to hit the Republicans below the belt. If you are a Republican voter, this is not partisanship. This is patriotism, and you better be ready because you are about to get hit. And here we go, Steelers. No, I mean, I like the Steelers, but here we go. Here we go, healthcare. Here we go. Come on. Here we go, healthcare. Here we go.
Here we go.
Hey, have a little
Here
bit
we
fun.
go.
It's right down my alley.
All right, now,
More stuff.
I'm getting my mobster on now. My inner mobster. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding here. Just kidding. But I am serious about hitting below the belt. Now, reconciliation. Reconciliation. To hear other conservative talk show hosts, Republican Party members of Congress, and by the way, I'm not looking at this, but to hear them somehow using reconciliation to pass health care reform is unconstitutional. It's dirty-handed. It's a dirty trick. The American people don't want it. So you would think that from this kind of talk by the Republican Party and even some modern Democrats, oh, I don't think we can use reconciliation. You would think that to use reconciliation in the Senate or the House as a procedure is somehow like starting the plague back. I mean, they make it sound like it's a crime. Well, Republicans, I don't have the gloves on anymore, baby. Now
I like
it's
it when the
time.
gloves are on.
Now it's time, baby. Here we go, Pittsburgh. Listen up. The Republican members that are saying this, those very same members, many of them, voted to use reconciliation, the dreaded reconciliation. They actually used it 14 times. Now, the procedure has been used since 1981 22 times. It has been used by the Republicans. I've seen conflicting reports. Some say they used it 16 times. Some of them say they used it 14 times. And these are credible sources like the Congressional Budget Office, the Commonwealth Fund, and what have you. But here's the thing, America. The bottom line is even if the Republicans only used reconciliation one time, your argument, Republican members of Congress, Republican members throughout the United States, your argument against reconciliation is null and void. Do not try to fool the American people anymore. Quit using it. Quit telling the lie. The fact is, you used it. So I already hit you below the belt. But I'm going to hit you a little bit harder, legally and peacefully, and I'm going to hit you to the point where maybe you won't be able to get back up, legally and peacefully. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell the American people, not only did you use reconciliation, especially in the Bush years, But let's go with a little something, something. They used reconciliation for the Economic Growth and Tax Relief Reconciliation Act of 2001, the Jobs and Growth Tax Relief Reconciliation Act of 2003 or 2003, the Deficit Reduction Act of 2005, the Tax Increase Prevention and Reconciliation Act of 2005. Now, what the heck does all that mean? What it means is every time the Republican-controlled Congress used reconciliation, it was some form of tax cut that benefited the wealthiest among us. But that's not what the hitting below the belt where it's going to knock you out legally and peacefully, that's not even going to do it. What is I want to remind the American people, and those of you who may be thinking about re-electing Republicans, conservative Democrats, or moderates, here's the deal. Understand, these acts that I told you, it cost the American people, now hold the phone everybody because you're about ready to fall down. The Republicans used reconciliation for a total cost over the 10-year period of approximately $6 trillion of extra debt for us. $6 trillion. Now, just the one in 2005 cost us $1.35 trillion. Now, to make that more understandable, it was $1.35 trillion. So not only did the Republicans use reconciliation, my fellow Americans, but they used it frequently, and they are the reason we are in debt. Now let me remind my Republican friends and foes, your man, Karl Rove, has said, I will be partisan when appropriate. Your man, Karl Rove, said that. So I am going to use that on you right now. If I need to be partisan to help my fellow Americans, by the way, also help you, then if I need to be partisan, I will be partisan. But this has nothing to do with politics. The fact remains that the Republican Party over the last 10 years have put us estimates anywhere from $6 trillion to $10 trillion in debt. Your great, 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 great grandchildren will be affected by that. But I have a little something before we get to the tape roll. Now, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has said spending $1 trillion and using reconciliation for a health care reform bill is underhanded and will cost Americans too much money. This same Senator, Mitch McConnell, every time the Republicans used reconciliation, he voted in favor of it. He also voted in favor of the $1.35 trillion tax cuts. But listen to the words of this, I'm sorry, but arrogant man. He said this. He said that they used the bill for lesser issues. In other words, somehow the Republicans are saying that the Democrats would be wrong to use it for health care, and somehow that when they did the tax cuts, that was a lesser issue. Really? Well, let's go to the CBO for a minute. Well, I don't even need to look. I'll tell you right now. The CBO said clearly, and the CBO stands for the Congressional Budget Office. You know what they said? They said that the Bush tax cuts